just a big, fat panda.
I'm not a big fat panda.
I'm the big fat panda. Skadoosh.
Hello and welcome to Big Fat Panda show number 50. Today my guest is very special to me. It is Lee Cockerell. He is the former executive vice president of Walt Disney World. He's here with us today. I am so excited. And about this time I tell you about my exclusive sponsor, David's Vacation Club Rentals at dvcrentals.com. And we're changing sponsors. Listen, I love David's Vacation Club Rentals. Before I put my name on something or I recommend something, I really vet it pretty good before I recommend it to you guys. I did change sponsors because I wanted different opportunities from the new sponsor, which is Magical Vacation Planner. But if you are going to rent DVC, continue please to go to dvcrentals.com. My new sponsor is a Disney authorized travel agency, Magical Vacation Planner. And if you're planning a trip to Walt Disney World or anywhere, this travel agency is a Disney authorized travel agency. Go to pandamvp.com for a no obligation quote. More on them later. So later this summer, Disney Springs is going to have a Star Wars virtual reality experience. There's a company called Void that makes these, apparently, I have never done them, these great virtual reality experiences. And they've teamed up with Lucasfilm and Disney to give you this untethered multi-sensory experience. We don't know how much they're going to charge for it, how they're going to handle the crowds that might want to do something like this, but as I get more information, I will give it over to you. So if you haven't heard by now, Ellen's Energy Adventure closed and so did the Great Movie Ride. Ellen's Energy Adventure really wasn't even show ready. I mean, that ride had issues. Ellen is no longer in it, the animatronic, the snake-like creature that she still talks about is not even in it, the speakers are buzzing and going crazy. I did do a last video on it at bigfatpanda.com that you can go see. I'll miss Ellen.
Stupid Judy.
But I won't miss Ellen the way I will miss the Great Movie Ride. The Great Movie Ride just had great nostalgia for me. Not just because I guess I was very young growing up, enjoying it. It felt like it was the, essential ride for the studios. It defined that theme park. It was my mom's favorite ride. She's no longer with us. And it hurts that I can't have the memory anymore of how she would complain about the animatronics. She would either say, that one's wonderful, or, this one's terrible, like she could have done a better job. It was pretty funny. We had a great host of the Great Movie Ride, Emily, and towards the end, I think she knew that our car was pretty much into it. We were vocal about being sad and clapping for them, how much we liked their performance, and she broke script.
I just wanted to thank you guys for being here today.
Oh my God, stop!
Stop! Thank you. If you're a former cast member, which God, I'm assuming some of you are, thank you for being here. If you just love the movie ride as much as we do, thank you for being here as well.
Emily, thank you!
First of all, I would never cry because I'm a fully grown man.
I feel the same. Listen, I know this is first world problem.
You grew up with this ride, yeah?
Yeah.
When the tour guide started to get emotional and lost it there, that's when I was done.
With me too, it has to do with my mom. When she was alive, this is her favorite ride. And that's sad. Because you can't relive that memory anymore. That's the only part.
Listen, I get that it's first world problems, but it was very emotional for us just to know that we're not going to be able to do that ride again. I know something good is supposed to be coming, Mickey's Runaway Railway. As a matter of fact, the signs went up the next day for Mickey's Runaway Railway. They had to put them up, I guess, because people were going up to the Great Movie Ride trying to figure out why is it closed, what's happening the next day. So at least there's signage there. It is supposed to be an amazing ride. I hear the Imagineers working on it. I think the person's name is Lafferty, the head Imagineer. I could have that wrong. I'm going by memory. And I hear that the things he creates are amazing. So I am very hopeful. I just don't know what could take the place of all those wonderful animatronics, but we will stay tuned.
Happy Halloween for the Davis family!
What month is it?
August!
How hot are you?
Hot!
So it's that time of the year again. It's Halloween time. No, it's not. But it is at Walt Disney World at the end of August. It's hot, it's humid. As a matter of fact, if you go to the Haunted Mansion, you can visit with Madame Rinotta or Carlotta. In this case, it was Madame Rinotta and her Butler Broome, who I think it was either Banksley or Matt from Attractions Magazine explained to me that Broome is not Broome with B-R-O-O-M. It has an E at the end. They talk about the humidity a little bit.
And please take as much of this heat and humidity with you when you go home back to Canada.
Gladly.
Thank you. Come back anytime. Anytime. Seriously, I'm not joking. How many people out there, since I can't really see you, so just make some noise. How many of you people out there are from the north? Can you all please take some of this weather with you?
And the rain may have hampered the fireworks finale just a little bit over at the first Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. I will be going back, but here is the finale to Hallowishes.
Happy hearts materialize and begin to vocalize. Bring ghosts out to socialize. Your eyes don't try to hide. For a silly spook makes it by your side. Driving in the dark sky, so you pretend to terrorize. Bring ghosts, come out and socialize.
Just didn't seem as grand as previous years, but that could all be in our minds, especially after we just saw the 4th of July, which was incredible. Also on BigFatPanda.com there is another video of the new Halloween merchandise that just went over at Disney Springs. I won't show you too much of that because like I said, there's a video on the website, and Corinne Andersson is going to do some Mouse-A-Holics of Halloween stuff. And now, to really cover some Halloween merchandise, let's do another episode of Mouse-A-Holics with Corinne Andersson.
Hi everybody and welcome back to Mouse-A-Holic. My name is Corinne Andersson and today I'm going to show you some of my favorite merchandise picks. It may be 95 degrees outside and the sun is blazing, but here in Florida we're ready for Halloween. First party is August 25th, so we're going to check out some of the Halloween merchandise today. Come along. So one of the things that I'm always most excited about every season is the mugs. I mean, who is not a Disney mug addict? And this year we got a brand new Halloween mug. It's a Mickey pumpkin and he's angry and then happy. Angry, happy. Yeah, this is a must get for this season. So as the Halloween parties here in Florida starts in August and it's really, really hot, we don't really do costumes. I would highly recommend one of these light up necklaces instead so you feel totally in the Halloween spirits when you go to the Halloween parties in August. Summertime, people, but hey, what can we do? And this is also another thing you absolutely need to have for the Halloween parties. New Halloween ears. We have these cute little pair with purple mini, adorable, and then of course the classic orange and black. So I hope you enjoyed those pics of the Halloween merchandise that is currently in stores. Remember, you can always see some of the selection on the Shop Disney Parks app or DisneyStore.com. Don't go on eBay, people. Purchase directly from Disney instead. Make sure you come back to Mouse-A-Holic next month for even more merchandise pics, and check out Disney Lifestylish on Instagram for merchandise every day.
So it's kind of odd the way things happen. My new exclusive partner, Magical Vacation Planner, partners with Lee Cockerell, the guest this month, the former Executive Vice President of Walt Disney World. He is doing workshops in conjunction with Magical Vacation Planner. There are 2 in Indiana, 1 planned for Anaheim. If you go to magicalvacationplanner.com and scroll down, you'll see the Lee Cockerell section. They'll keep updating that as more workshops are added. And here to tell you a little bit more about the workshops is Lee Cockerell himself.
It's time to bring some magic to your organization. Hello everyone, I'm Lee Cockerell, former Executive Vice President of the Walt Disney World Resort. Helping you discover how you can create Disney magic in your organization is something I really look forward to. At Disney, it is not magic that makes it work, it is the way we work that makes it magic. In this presentation, I'll cover the tools you need to be successful, from learning how to be perceived as a great leader to 4 simple ways to set your organization apart and why the customer does not come first. It's all about taking your organization to the next level, offering education, networking, motivation, and a dose of Disney fun. My hope is that you walk away from our time together a better leader for your company, engaged, inspired, and equipped with the tools to be the pixie dust for your organization. Please don't miss the opportunity. I'm excited to be with you all soon. It's never too late to get better, and you can create Disney magic too.
You'll understand more after the interview because he really has some amazing insights and he dispels a lot of myths. Things that I thought, when I used to manage a travel agency, and things that I thought a manager should be, I thought I was very good and effective, but I'm finding out now that I did some things wrong. Things that I thought were like the holy grail of management, he dispels them, and he's got a great book, and it doesn't go, the book is not good just for management. You'll see when I do the interview, it's called Creating Magic, but it really goes for anyone. It goes for a parent, it goes for anybody that's in any type of a position to make a decision, and that's all of us. And once again, the prize for this month will be a Panda shirt. There will be a men's Panda shirt drawing, a woman's Panda shirt drawing. All you have to do is make sure you give this video a thumbs up, be subscribed to bigfatpanda.com, and put any comment on this video at all. The comment doesn't have to, I don't pick it from the greatest comment, even though the greatest comments are cool. I've picked people who have put negative comments about the show. I haven't sent them a nice shirt. It's been torn up a little bit, but they've gotten a shirt. No, I'm kidding. Of course, any comment at all, it doesn't matter what it says to be in the running. And now let's get to our guest, Lee Cockerell. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lee Cockerell. I can't tell you, I think I've told him a couple of times, but I'll say it again, how appreciative I am that you came.
Well, thank you. Nice to be out here.
It is amazing to I'm gonna give him the Panda hug if he lets me. Thank you, Lee.
Okay, good deal.
Okay, so for those people that may not know, you were the executive vice president of Walt Disney World from when to when?
Well, I joined Disney in 1990 and spent 3 years in France, opening Euro Disney, Disneyland Paris now, and then I came back in 93 and I ended up retiring in 06, so I ran Disney World operations for about 10 years.
Now, you don't seem like somebody that would retire. Like, I could still see you in the role right now. Why did you retire? Because you thought, all right, it's my time, or?
Well, I had some other things I wanted to do. I was 62, and I retired and started my own business and wrote 4 books and have a podcast and a big speaking business all over the world.
You have a podcast?
I do.
What
it's
is
called Creating Disney Magic. It's on every Tuesday.
I don't know this. Creating Disney Magic. I'm putting it up here. I can find it on iTunes?
Oh, yeah. It's
That's awesome.
iTunes, all the sites.
Okay, I'll put a little note up here so we can get there.
Good.
I have to look. That would be my thing.
Yeah.
I do know the books. We have the one that I read. I think that, am I right that it's the most popular? Excuse me, Creating Magic?
That's the first one, Creating Magic, yes. And it's out in 16 languages now, so that's why it's...
So you have no excuse.
Continues to do well.
Now, Creating Magic, you would think, is a leadership book for just leaders, but that is not true, because everybody in their own way is technically a leader of something.
Absolutely.
And those values, or that system that you have, we'll get into that a little bit, I think can be applied to anything.
It can. It's even applicable to parents.
Yeah, you even mentioned that in the
I do a lot.
That your mom was a good leader.
Well, I think moms and dads are the most important leaders in the world, because if they mess up, here's what you have,
Yeah.
So,
and then we get stuck with it. The society gets stuck with it.
And we need to pay more attention to that. That's where a lot of failures are right now.
What I liked about the book Creating Magic, and what I've noticed, is a lot of things that people think you debunk. For instance, when the boss tries to project an image of strength by not really talking to their employees and kind of being above I don't want to say above the law, but above them. You think the opposite, and if you could talk a little bit about that, that's interesting too.
Well, I don't know what happens to people that behave like that. I think I blame it on insecurity and probably not believing in themselves. And anybody that mistreats people or doesn't respect people or doesn't pay attention to people on their own level together, I mean, there's something wrong with those people. I don't get it. I don't know who has the right to do that, and I'm always surprised when it happens. But I've come to the conclusion it's an insecurity issue more than anything else.
Very possible.
Yeah.
You say you started off, though, not knowing, like it was a learned thing.
It was.
That you started off being a little maybe, oh my God, Lee's coming, and they would get very
Well,
nervous.
I would say for any leader, people are intimidated by your position. So it wasn't about how nice I was or wasn't. It was Leacock was the executive vice president, so people are nervous about leadership. I mean, I used to be nervous when my dad was coming home when I'd done something wrong. So leaders can intimidate you because of the position. And so I tried to soften that in any way that I could so people would understand they can come and see me, come and talk to me. I'll keep it confidential. I won't get them in trouble. I'm there to try to solve their problem and solve their issue. So yeah, more. I think I always tell people we need more teachers and less these bosses out here.
Your office was open. If a cast member needed to come to you, you had your office open.
It was, and people said, "Well, how could you do that with so many people at Disney World?" And I said, "Well, unfortunately, not many people take you up on it." And so I had to really work that, and even had a system in my office when somebody came to see me. I went out and met them. I didn't have them brought into my office. When they left, I went with them. I didn't want this. I didn't sit behind my desk. I sat with them.
That puts you on equal ground.
Absolutely.
It's all psychological.
And I just wanted to, if I could help them, I figured they weren't coming to see me unless they needed me. And one guy asked me, he said, why does everybody come to you, Lee? Why don't they go to their boss? I said, well, you might want to ask yourself that question if you're their boss. Why don't they come to you?
Very good. What I think was great, what you said in there was, it wasn't even the fact that a lot of people didn't come, but the fact that they knew they could made all the difference.
It did. And the ones who did came went out and told everybody that he was actually okay. He was a nice guy.
You left one alive to tell the story to the rest.
He didn't bite me, so that was good. Yeah.
What do you think was your biggest challenge? Was it cast? Was it employees? Was it maintenance? What was the biggest challenge you feel?
Oh, I don't. People are always the biggest problem. The rides are fine. The shows are fine. The parks are fine. The hotels, the lobby, everything. So it's always people you have to deal with and try to get all those people to behave themselves and not do inappropriate things and tell inappropriate jokes and no sexual harassment and all these things that happen with humans. And so that was always, and I say that worst thing I ever had to do is when you had to terminate somebody. I would say that's what I hated most.
And do you think today the same challenges are there, or do you think because of social media, did it get worse or better?
Oh, it probably got worse because people were getting themselves in trouble on social media, saying things that they probably would never say to somebody's face. And I tell young people today, be careful what you say and do. You're going to get in trouble. That's going to be on your Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, and your employer's going to look at it, and it's going to be there. Don't get a DUI. Don't be somewhere where there are drugs, because if that gets on your record, your kind of job life is over.
It still goes to your legacy.
Can't go away. It'll be there. So be careful.
Yeah, they think it's a. Yeah, there's a wall there, but it's really not. You could see that stuff.
Right. It's a problem.
What do you think were your biggest accomplishments at Disney?
Well, when I came there, I think back in the old days at Disney and every company in America, leadership meant one or two people that tell everybody what to do. And they're not interested in your opinion, and just keep your mouth shut and do your job. And I worked with Judson Green on helping develop this whole process of going forward, understanding that our guests weren't the most important thing, that leadership was, that every person had a good leader that they trusted and would look out for them and train them and develop them. And so I helped put that into place. And once you start knowing that leadership comes first, and they create a great environment for the cast, so the cast will want to take care of the guest instead of have to, because somebody's watching them, and then you make more money and you have better guests return more often. And it's just a simple thing, but it's hard to convince people who've been operating under that other style for years of just telling people what to do.
You said something about the learners are they inherit the future.
Well, yeah, I mean, the people who don't learn, they're finished. I mean,
when there's change going on.
Absolutely. You can become irrelevant today very quickly just on technology alone if you don't keep up with it. You, as a leader, as a manager, as a even an individual, you're going to become irrelevant. You won't be able to do anything. So even though at my age I have a guy that's continually training me, and I have 3 grandkids that I call when I don't know something, and they straighten me out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I noticed that, like, for somebody like me who loves Disney World, and I read the book, I'm kind of a little angry that you're still not there, because I get worried that, does the legacy of Lee Cockerell still live there? Do they know your principles, and are they still applying them?
Well, I don't know if they're applying them, but I left my son there. That was good.
That's Dan, right?
Dan, he's the vice president of the Magic Kingdom, so hopefully he's behaving.
Magic Kingdom's been doing some pretty good things, so my hat's off to Dan.
Well, I tell him, behave yourself, because we got the same last name. Don't get me in trouble. And I tell my grandkids the same thing.
But does he use some of your... I'm sure Dan's read your book.
Oh, well, he grew up with me. I didn't just become that way in the last 2 years. I mean, he was treated that way, and he was taught that way, the respect for people. And so I would say people often tell me when he gives a speech, it's a little bit like mine, but I've never heard him speak, so I don't know.
Cockerell School of Management that Disney brought everybody to.
Actually, I have a new one, website. It just came out. It's called Cockerell Academy. It's with the New York Distance Learning Association. That all my stuff's on there now, and they're promoting it to colleges, universities, corporations, HR departments. I'm putting courses on there.
CockerellAcademy.com?
Uh-huh.
That's awesome. I'll put that up there, too.
You can check it out.
Cheryl Perlmutter asks, what was the best way, or what, hopefully it still is, the best way for people that wanted to give a comment to Disney that it would really be noticed and looked at? Did you notice email more, or a phone call more, or what would you say the guest feedback? What was the best way a guest could give feedback?
Well, I really noticed when they showed up in my office because they weren't happy.
That is the best way.
Happy people showed up occasionally, but not nearly as much as people who didn't get to see Mickey Mouse or Cinderella wasn't around, and they wanted to beat me up. Second was phone calls. I had a policy in my office. I take all calls. Don't tell them I'm in a meeting. Don't tell them I'm not available. Don't tell them Lee's out of town. Because I needed to hear that. I needed to hear the emotion in their voice, because they weren't mad at me. They were mad at the situation, and I needed to know what that was. So those were pretty tough. Sometimes I was getting ready to leave at 5 and got a call, and I'm still on the phone an hour later because the guy's working me over. And it was good. I mean, reality is a good thing. Know the truth is the best way you make decisions, when you know the truth. Now, is it fun? No, it's not. I'd rather some days not know the truth, but you got to know. And even if you have children, you got to know the truth, because if you don't, you won't be involved in the right thing. So that was, letters. I had a staff that looked through all the letters. We answered them. We paid attention to people.
So if in your opinion,
if they came to me, it would get handled.
But
properly.
In your opinion, if someone went to guest relations today and filled out a comment sheet, somebody is looking at that.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
They got a staff of 50 or 60 people that actually call the guests back when they have a problem, when they send an email. We don't email them anymore. They call them.
I notice I get a lot of surveys, too. In the park, if I stay at a hotel, I get a survey right away with a pretty intensive...
They survey 2 million people a year at least.
Wow.
So they know what's going on. And hopefully they'll fix it if it's not right.
Okay, this question I may have to read. It's a good one. This is from Beatrice Feeney on Facebook. She says, knowing the magnitude of the company's history, heritage, and followers, how did you feel when you were selected for this important role? And then she says, what was your biggest vision to accomplish during the tenure? So first off, how did you feel? I mean, well, first you started at Disneyland Paris.
Right.
Give me a little bit about that phone call that came, and you were just settled somewhere, and you told your wife, they're offering me a job at Disneyland Paris.
Right. Well, I was working for Marriott for 17 years after working for Hilton 8 years, and I was very good, in great shape. I had a great job, great salary, everything was great. And I got a call to interview for Disneyland Paris, and I went down to Orlando and interviewed for it just to see what's going on, and they offered me the job. And I went home and I said, Priscilla, I got offered the job to go to Paris. What do you think? She said, let's go. I said, what?
You didn't expect that?
I didn't. I thought, well, we're in a comfortable position. I can stay here for the rest of my life. We're safe. Every life is good. She said, Lee, I'll never forget. She said, Lee, if you don't take this job, you're going to have regrets in 5 years. You could have lived in Paris. You could have worked for Disney, and they were going to pay you. And everybody in our family is either dead or getting better, because we had a lot of sick and illness done. So let's go do it. Our son was in college, so we just did it. And
how many years were you there?
In
Paris?
3 years. and got a French daughter-in-law out of it, got 3 French-American grandchildren. Disney gave me a bunch of stuff for going over there.
Bunch of French stuff.
Yeah, and so it was the best decision I ever made. My career really took off after that.
And it was like a pay cut to go from where you were to Disneyland Paris.
I didn't get the same amount of money, but my wife would have, I don't know what she would have done if we didn't move to Paris. That was her goal. She had a French boyfriend when I met her 50 years ago.
Hopefully she didn't have to see him
Took
again.
a year to get rid of him. And she had always told me she wouldn't go out with me because she was going to live in Paris someday, and our kids were going to speak French and English, and it turned out to be with me, not with him. So we laugh about that, but it was a great experience. I think everybody should live internationally. I mean, it changes who you are. You understand you don't speak the language. I mean, it's hard. I got stressed out to stop and get gas. I was afraid they'd talk to me, and I didn't know what they were talking about.
I have nightmares about being in a country where I don't know the language.
Yeah, well, that was me. And so it was a great experience. And then when I got called to come back to Orlando, I was surprised.
Was Priscilla disappointed in having to leave France?
I wouldn't say she was disappointed. Her parents were getting older, and we had kind of made the decision to come back. And actually, her dad died about 2 months before we came back, so it was better to be back here. She needed to be with her mother, and it was time.
Oh, her mom was here.
Yeah, her mother was here in Annapolis, and
that was a big. You went from Disneyland Paris, which is again an amazing big job for anyone, but now they're asking you to be the vice president of operations for Disney World.
Yeah,
that's a bigger undertaking.
Well, I started out in charge of all the hotels for about 2 years, and then they gave me all the operations. So it was good, and I said I didn't know what was going on, but I had a lot of people around me that did. So that's the key in life. Have smart people around you, and that's what I did well. And,
I love when I see you on one of your when you do like a seminar and stuff, and you say to them, the guy came from engineering. I couldn't help him. I just told him to do his good job. He did a good job.
I have a grandson getting a degree in biomedical engineering. I don't understand one thing he talks about. I mean, not one.
There is a big thing with even, I mean, as simple as something as doing a YouTube channel. I will have some people help me with stuff. You have to they know After Effects. I don't know After Effects, so I let them do their job.
Absolutely. You're smart.
You have to.
It's the way to do it.
What's terrible, though, is I notice a lot of times the people get credit. Like, I'll get credit for things that I didn't do.
Yeah.
And you have to sometimes, that happens on everything. When there's a movie made.
It does. And you got to work hard and make sure that doesn't happen too often, because people get disappointed when they don't get the credit. And got enough credit in my life already. I don't need any more.
Something we didn't cover that's a big thing in the book is, and I think we covered it a little bit, is making people know that they matter.
Sure.
And it's actually more important than pay. Sometimes we would rather get an accolade or somebody saying, you did that really good job, we appreciate you, more than a bonus.
Absolutely. I wrote a whole chapter in Creating Magic on that. I think it's chapter 7. It's called Burn the Free Fuel. And it's... I named my fuel R-A-R-E, for appreciation, recognition, encouragement. It's really the fuel that drives human performance, all of us. Whether it's my wife, if I tell her I love her, that's better than if I don't.
Absolutely.
We always do it with our children. I love you, you're doing great. Really proud of you for how you did that yesterday. I mean, this is...
Positive reinforcement.
Most people don't do it enough. I mean, we all miss opportunities every single day to do it for other people, strangers even.
I think bosses might be nervous to tell someone that they did something good, because then they worry that they're going to ask for a raise, or that they're going to...
Oh, they can ask.
They may not get it, but they can ask.
I said, when you're a leader and a parent, you got to do hard things. Sometimes you got to say no. I still actually tell people, don't become a leader in business or have children if you can't make hard decisions, because both of those require hard decisions.
You have a great balance of being fair and, and all that, from what I'm reading and seeing, and still in reality, where if you have to be the boss and put your foot down on something, you have to do that.
Well, people come and say, I want more money. I said, fine, then you got to be qualified for this job. It does pay more money, but not the one you got. So go back to school, go to classes, get on the internet, listen to podcasts, do something to get your skills up, and then you can get into that job.
Awesome.
That's okay.
Do you, most of the questions on Facebook, and I understand how this works, were, is Disney going to price themselves out of the market? Are they going to, I say supply and demand. I see crowds, I understand that. If somebody asked you that question, what would you say as far as, do you feel that sometimes they can price themselves out of middle-class families?
Well, I think a lot of things are priced out of certain groups. I mean, there's things priced out of mine. I don't have a Ferrari, or I don't stay in the Ritz-Carlton very much. No, I mean, That's not happening.
Pop Century.
I don't think it's happening. Yeah, there's a place for there. There's off specials during the year, off times. There's no, I don't think
the
so.
crowds are evident that
you can
it's
rent a house.
obviously not happening.
Right, and they're doing fine. And Disney's smart enough. They got a lot of smart people there keeping an eye on this. I assure you.
When you were there, was there talk ever of a fifth gate, or is that a fifth theme park, or is that still?
I've never heard of a fifth gate, and I think why. I think they got plenty of room to just make the 4 bigger as they need them for more capacity, like they did Fantasyland, and and now they just opened opened at night in the Animal Kingdom.
Have you been to Pandora?
I haven't. My son was supposed to take me, and we had to go out of town, and I missed it.
It's amazing.
And so I think those parks can all grow to handle another 1 million, 5 million, who knows. I doubt if they'll have a 5th park. I just don't think, people just are here 4 or 5 days. You can't see it now, let alone needing a 4th or 5th park. And look at downtown Disney, Disney Springs. It's amazing. I was just there the other day. It was just mind-boggling to me how much it's grown also, and everywhere else.
It's awesome.
They're building a new tower at Coronado Springs.
Oh, I saw that.
I didn't even know that.
A convention
I
thing.
was over there, and somebody told me. I said, "Really?"
Coronado Springs was like the forgotten hotel that I don't know too much about, and now it's getting a whole thing.
Yeah.
Transportation seems to be a big issue. You don't have to comment on this at all, but just recently a piece of the monorail fell off. Little piece.
It did.
10 feet from someone. He picked it up. They took pictures, and that monorail had to be towed. This was about 3 days ago.
Yeah.
That fleet looks like it's getting older. I know when you were there, was there talk of ever redoing the monorail system or anything with transportation that's of interest to you?
Well, I don't know. A lot of people would like to expand the monorail so it would not go all over the property. And I know that that's in the maintenance budget every year, just like anything else, that it gets either maintained or cars get replaced. But I don't think. I think the monorail will always be there. It's kind of the brand. I mean, when you think about Disney, you think about.
There's talk now of gondolas. Did you hear of this yet?
Yeah, I heard that, and that was pretty cool. If that could work, and actually, I heard they're going to do it. So,
but like you, I thought the branding is monorail. If you can do it, stick with monorail. But I know the cost may be prohibitive.
I think it's millions per mile now. I mean,
with the gondolas, I think of the weather.
Oh yeah,
with Florida, how are you doing?
When you're struck by lightning, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I know they'll know, before this gondola goes out.
But that's the problem when you have to shut something down, and like this time of year, it would be shut down all the time, probably. So I don't know the transportation, the huge bus fleet. I think they got 1,200 bus drivers now, and you can drive your own car, and if you're staying on property, you don't have to pay for parking in the parks. But transportation everywhere in the world is an issue. I mean, frankly. Look at I-4.
Oh.
I mean, give me a monorail on that thing. And the train is not really convenient. It stops in the wrong places for me. And so, transportation, that's always going to be an issue. But hopefully they continue to, and they got boats, and they keep trying to figure it out. But, it'll be a problem.
I think I know the answer to this question, but I want to see if you answer it the way I think you will. What do you think the Lee Cockerell legacy at Walt Disney World is? And don't be modest about this. Give it to, because I think I know, or I'll tell you what I think if you don't.
Well, I hear from a lot of people still that contact me and talk about. Frankly, they sometimes say, "I wish you were here," but I think my focus on leadership and making sure respect for people, and I developed Disney Great Leader Strategies, which we used to train the management there, and it became the basis for my book, Creating Magic. And hopefully that, I always said to people, there's nothing bad about me on the internet, because I don't try to do anything bad, and I think most people respect me there, and I still today hear from young people who are just starting there, and I got my window on Main Street, so...
Are you on...
Where?
Okay.
Right above the jewelry store and the watch store.
I'm going to have a picture of that. I'm going to get it. So you put it here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so all those things I left in good stead, and I get lots of nice comments from people, and I get huge amounts of business from people around the world. That I'm going to Australia in July, and then I'm going to Russia in August, and then Prague, Budapest, Hong Kong, Chicago.
Being on the Panda show is probably the top of your legacy.
It is. It's one of the best things that ever happened. I mean, I was shocked to be invited.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you. You haven't been to Pandora, but I'm going to tell you that Pandora is it's not the biggest land, but it's beautiful. And it's immersive in a different way. And when you see it, and then you think Star Wars land, you realize
what's coming.
What's coming. Are you pretty happy with the direction you see things going in for the most part?
I love that they're investing so much in the business here. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what the capital dollars are right now for building new hotels. And
they're getting it back. They got to be.
Yeah. Disney Springs and more hotels, and they're doing work in just about every part.
It feels like a golden age of resurgence in between Toy Story Land and Epcot. I hear is getting some love after Star Wars. I don't know if it's true, but we hear a lot of things about Epcot where the Journey into Imagination is getting something, and then where Ellen's Energy Adventure is, that's kind of like,
I haven't heard that yet, but yeah, I'm sure they will. I mean, they're going to keep them all up. I mean, it's a profitable business.
If ever we can get Dan on the show, I don't know if he's allowed to. When you work there, sometimes it's weird. I get some employees, but I don't know if he'd...
I've had people ask him. I don't think he feels comfortable doing that while he's working there.
Yeah, I understand that. It's hard to be a...
You get him after he retires.
After he retires. Dan, you heard this. If you watch that. Just so I can be clear, you have 3 books out now or 4?
4.
Okay, there's Creating Magic.
Correct.
That was your first book.
Yes.
Then there is Time Management.
The second one was the Customer
Rules.
Right.
And that is obviously about...
customer service. And things you can do that don't really cost a lot.
Okay, like burning that free fuel.
In any business. I don't care whether it's the government or whether it's gas station on the corner or convenience store.
Yeah, these don't apply to just theme parks. I mean, you could be a hairstylist and these same principles apply. I found that they applied to me and my cats sometimes. So then you have then came the
time
management, which, oh boy, do I need that.
It works.
Yeah.
And we have an online time management course too now that we're selling.
Is that on Lee Cockerell Academy?
It's on leecockerell.com and Cockerell Academy.
Cockerell Academy.
Both. It's on my website, and yeah.
Okay, then you have Career Magic?
Career Magic, and I wrote that, and that came out in November, and that's about how to handle the obstacles that are going to come in your life.
Oh gosh, I needed that like 5
bad
years
boss,
ago.
Bad job, bad house, bad place, whatever. A lot of obstacles come, and a lot of people are not prepared to understand they're just momentary.
Are you still available for larger businesses that want to hire a speaker?
Oh, I do that. I do that all. That's what I do mainly.
Where would they go to contact you for that?
They can go to my website. All my contact information's there. leecockerell.com, phone number, website, my address, whatever they want.
I will tell you, he doesn't come
I book them every
cheap.
week.
My budget was up there, and I had to spend it all.
Yeah, there you go.
I appreciate this time so much. I can't tell you.
You're welcome. Good to see you.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, good to see you.
I appreciate it, yes.
Take care. Thanks for having me.
And there you have it, show number 50. Let me thank my guest again, Lee Cockerell. Lee, thank you so much for being a part of the show. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to try to get you back if I can at some point. We'll probably be covering a lot more Halloween stuff next month, as September will feel a lot more like Halloween than August does. Let me thank again my exclusive partner, Magical Vacation Planner. If you are planning a trip anywhere, but to Walt Disney World most likely, take a look at pandamvp.com for a no-obligation vacation quote, or call the number on your screen. They are a very big travel agency. They have a lot of agents, but what I found in going through things with Disney and other places, they really give you that boutique agency feel where you get the personal attention that you would get from just a smaller agency, usually not one that's that big. So take a look, let me know what you think. I think you will be pleasantly surprised. I have vetted them, and I plan to represent them for a very long time, if not forever. So thank you for coming on this journey with me. Go forth, create pandemonium, and above all, keep giving out those panda hugs. They do a lot more than you think. The world needs them now a lot. Until next time, Panda out.